welcome you to this edition of our backpack. As usual, we are going to bring you more about Egypt. Every time we meet, we bring you more about the Egyptian destinations and more about the beautiful sites where you can spend your vacation. But this time we are in Cairo, and we are in one of the most beautiful and important sites that is a must-see place. It is the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. We're going to move inside. Yes, we came here many different times before, but let me tell you something, it is always important to come to stop here by this place, by the Egyptian Museum, to find out more about the ancient culture and civilization. Let's move inside to bring you more about such a beautiful place. The Museum in Cairo displays the world's most extensive collection of pharaonic antiquities. That one can say no visit to Egypt is complete without a trip through its galleries. The collection was established in the late 19th century. The objects were then moved in 1891 to the palace of Ismail Pasha in Giza, before being transferred in 1902 to the current building at Tahrir Square, which is the first purpose-built museum edifice in the world. The museum boasts 107 halls that carry some artifacts dating from the prehistoric through the Roman periods, with the majority of the collection focused on the Pharaonic era. The museum houses approximately 160,000 objects, covering 5,000 years of Egypt's history. The ground floor takes the visitor on a chronological tour through the collections, while the objects on the upper floor are grouped according to tomb or category. Exhibits here include the treasures of Tutankhamun, the wooden models of daily life, and the statues of the gods, and also some rare group of Fayoum portraits. The Egyptian Museum of Antiquities is considered to be one of the oldest, most famous, and largest museums in the world. A long history that dates back to the year 1825, when Muhammad Ali Pasha, the ruler of Egypt at that time, issued a decree to establish a museum for the antiquities of Egypt. And the first location of the museum was in front of the Azbakiya Lake, between the squares of Opera and Ataba today.
Inside the museum, there are many interesting things that one can enjoy even away from the antiquities themselves. In front of the main entrance of the Egyptian Museum of Antiquities, there is a small artificial lake that has some of the lotus and papyrus plants, the most important plants for the ancient Egyptians. It can take you days to view everything in the Egyptian Museum. Moving around here, for example, you can find many beautiful and interesting pieces that one can stand in front of. The ground floor, for example, that hosts the heavier displays like coffins, huge statues, and stone carvings. Again, the displays of this floor were organized according to the historical periods, which are the Old Kingdom, the period, the New Kingdom, the Late Period, and the Greco-Roman period, and of course the antiquities of Nubia. The upper floor of the Egyptian Museum of Antiquities hosts the lighter displays that include gadgets and tools, funerary objects, smaller statues, papyrus papers, wooden coffers, jewelry, and the most important part is the display of the Tutankhamun tomb. As for the marmor plate, it is among the most important displays that one here can enjoy and must take a look at during the visit to the museum. The marmor plate, or the plate of the King Menes. The marmor plate is a large plate made out of stone, and it is the only remaining evidence that King Narmer or Menes was able to unify the two regions of Egypt, Upper and Lower Egypt, in one unified kingdom, beginning the dynastic era of the Egyptian history. His name is inscribed at the two sides of the plate. The king is portrayed on one side of the plate wearing the long white crown, and he is about to beat a war prisoner with his hands. On the other side of the plate, the king is portrayed wearing the two crowns and walking with his followers to supervise the process of prosecuting the war prisoners. The displays of the Old Kingdom in the Egyptian Museum are located to the left-hand side of the entrance door, and they are among the most remarkable among the whole displays of the museum. The Old Kingdom, or the Pyramids Builders period, is a section of the ancient Egyptian history. The most important achievements of this period is the pyramids of Giza, the step pyramid of Saqqara, pyramids of Dahshur, and pyramids of Abu Sir. The first capital of a unified Egypt was founded by King Menes in the 32nd century BC, and it was called Memphis, located nowadays to the south of Giza. The most important Egyptian kings that ruled over the country from Memphis are King Menes or Narmer, and of course King Zoser, Snefru, Cheops, and King Chephren. There is a wonderful statue for him made out of alabaster and is displayed in the second hall of the ground floor to the museum. There are also four heads of some of the relatives of the king, and they were made out of limestone. And moving forward in the Egyptian Museum of Antiquities, there are some attractive smaller statues of servants carrying out their everyday duties and responsibilities. For example, here there is a statue for a woman grinding the grains, and beside her there is a statue of a man getting the dough ready to produce beer. On the other side there is a man grilling a goose, and beside him there is another one holding a large bag on his shoulder. These tombs were found in some of the tombs of the nobles, who included these servants with them in their burial chambers to serve them in the afterlife as they have served them during their lives. Afterwards, moving on with exploring the ground floor of the Egyptian Museum, one can find large collection of coffins that were made from different types of rocks and stones, with its decorations and carvings. There is also the walls of the funerary chamber that was reconstructed after being brought from one of the tombs of Saqqara. This piece is the best example of the magnificent art of the 6th dynasty of the Old Kingdom. Walls of the chamber, there is a list of items showing what the deceased might need in the afterlife. The Old Kingdom is considered to be among the most powerful periods of the ancient Egyptians. This is why people here will find some huge statues that are featured with the accuracy in its design and beauty. The museum hosts 10 notable statues that date back to the Middle Kingdom. The 10 statues portray the King Snisert I, a king that belongs to the 12th dynasty, and they are all made out of limestone. There are also 3 other statues for Senusert, portrayed as the god Osiris, and they were found in an area that is near El Fayoum and the Pyramid of Midian to the south of Cairo. The Middle Kingdom period started in Egypt with the fall of the Old Kingdom, and it was, according to historical records and researchers, a relatively negative period of the ancient Egyptian history. However, with the beginning of the rule of the 12th dynasty, the living conditions of Egyptians were improved, and the arts and industries have greatly flourished. Another transition took place in Egypt once again, with the nobles fighting among each other, and the living conditions getting worse more. All these facts paved the way for the Hyksos to invade the country. When the 17th dynasty came to rule over Egypt from Thebes, they started to fight these foreign invaders until King Ahmose was able to defeat them and expel them out of Egypt. Ahmose founded the 18th dynasty, which is the first dynasty of the new kingdom of Egypt. It is considered as the greatest dynasties that ruled over Egypt, and the most important rulers of this period are Queen Hatshepsut, King Amenhotep, Akhenaten, and King Tutankhamun.
Well, that was all for today, but remember that here in this place, the Egyptian Museum, it is not only enough to come here once. Definitely we need to come back again to bring you more about this museum, even for you. If you want to come to enjoy your visit here in this Egyptian museum, you have to read a lot about it, and you have just to dedicate 1 or 2 days to find out more about such beautiful things inside. We are going to be back next week, same time. Until then, bye.